I love a happy ending.
Hi, this is Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast, and as I said, we're still coming to you via our format right now until I can get my computer all took care of. So, got a big show today with a little bit of change. We're going to cover Raw and the stuff that's over the weekend and headlines, and some indie wrestling on Tuesday's show. And then Friday, since it's right after SmackDown or the day of SmackDown, we'll talk about what's going on with SmackDown on Friday, and we'll talk about TNA. So we're going to go ahead and get started. There's a lot of people say that Ziggler is having trouble transferring into his new face character. I would say it was a little too early in the switch to say that. Ziggler is very talented in this area known as character development. I mean, you know, his in-ring stuff is unarguably the best. You know, he sells moves better than anybody. You know, there's only a couple of people that even close to selling moves. You know, people like Daniel Bryan and some other well-known folks. So, you know, you can't say that him turning face. You know, I don't see that he's failing yet. I mean, it's so early, you know, even though it's obvious he's a face, there's still enough heel Ziggler there. This is going to actually make him a better face because he's still, you know, edgy. So, yeah, as my wife just said, chaotic neutral. Sorry if you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is. You know, yeah, I'm a nerd. Okay. A lot of talk also about the upcoming show Totally Divas, or Total Divas. Some of the talk is a positive. Many make the observation that other than the Bellas and Natalya, the other divas are not talked about, and that the show seems short-sighted on paper since we actually haven't seen any of it. Due to the absence of, and then you have, you know, due to the absence of Caitlyn and AJ Lee, you know, just to name a couple, it would make the show a little better to me. I mean, all they talk about, you know, which, you know, for good reasons, I have a little more respect for the Bellas due to some of their off-screen projects, but, you know, you can't push a show, and don't get me wrong, Natalya is beautiful, okay? Tyson Kidd has good taste, and we want to congratulate them on their recent wedding. And you know, but I mean, she's beautiful, but it just seems that there's a lot of, you know, divas that could actually be on there that are actually being left out. So I just think it's a little short-sighted that they're selling the show with just the Bellas and Natalya. I think they need to, you know, Caitlyn needs to show up on there, and so does AJ Lee. You know, that would be very interesting. Of course, now they may not be doing Caitlyn and AJ because of storyline, you know, problems. So, you know, could have them being chilly and chilling together if they're having a battle on TV. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. Like I said, nobody's actually seen the show, but on paper it just seems kind of short-sighted. We'll just have to see. Had some stuff. Had a good pay-per-view. I did not watch. There are only a certain amount of pay-per-views that I watch. Not because of the money. Now, last year I got every one of them. Okay, and I did that for a reason. I picked out the ones that they do better at, and the others I can just look at on Twitter, see what happened. But you know, we had a pretty good pay-per-view with Sandow stabbing his former partner Cody Rhodes in the back. There's a lot of talk of his upcoming Facebook talking about Cody Rhodes. I think it's about time. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. Cody is the son of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes and the brother of the famed Goldust. He is due for a push and has proven his worth in Mayhem News Live's opinion, that the WWE needs to push him. And I kind of we kind of believe that you're going to look for a 2-tier title run. In other words, he's going to get either the IC title, U.S. title, and then jump to either WWE or the WWE title or the world title. Now, if he's going to go for the world title, it's probably going to be after April, which will be after when they, my son, anyway, when they do their regular changeover like they always do afterwards. So Seth says hello, by the way.
They're Tom and Jerry.
They're Tom and Jerry. Okay, if you think that the Mark Henry versus John Cena is last week's news, you shouldn't. As we saw in Raw, the spotlight is still on Mark Henry with the attack on him by the Shield. This is a wise decision. Your choice of his wardrobe last night was not. I mean, I like the suit, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't suit him, pun intended. In a fight, I think they should have had Mark Henry ready to fight. Or just some regular clothes. How about some blue jeans and a nice shirt? I don't understand sending a man out there with a suit on, and then having to face the Shield. Even though he did pretty good, I was beginning to wonder if he wasn't going to go up and win there. No run-ins, no help outs for Mark Henry, which means they're going to try to keep him as a heel, which is a good thing. And also with the Shield attacking Mark Henry, the WWE is keeping up the push for the Shield. Now we all have to do, all we have to do now is sit back and wait for the Shield to have a run-in with the Wyatts, which was what we here at Mayhem News Live thinks is going to happen. It's very rare for WWE to have. I mean, in this day and age where the shows are split and you don't have everybody on each show, it's very rare for them to have two major, highly pushed heel factions, with no factions that are good guys, that are face. So I have a feeling that, and we know it's not going to be the Wyatts that switch over, so it's more likely going to be the Shield, and I think eventually they're going to go against the Wyatts. So that's what we're calling. We're calling it as of today, and as of the last 2 or 3 months, that's what we've been talking about. So WWE officially announces that the Ultimate Warrior will be in WWE 2K14, and unfortunately, he will be a pre-order perk. In other words, if you don't pre-order it, you may not get the Ultimate Warrior at all. I don't know later. Sometimes a lot of these pre-order stuff on games, they'll get you to pre-order it, and then after maybe a year, they'll start letting people get the pre-order stuff. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. Excuse me. I mean, they got to have some perks. They got to have some perks as far as, getting people to buy the game. And I think that that would probably be one of them. That this is going to get them, because a lot of people have fussed about, the Ultimate Warrior not being in sit down, watch. In the games, and I think maybe this is the first one that he's going to be in that is actually a sim type game and not, one of the cartoony games like he's been in the past. Dave Batista shoots down rumors of his return to WWE. He has had some strong words with people spreading rumors of his wrestling intentions and seems to focus on acting. I actually watched The Man with the Iron Fist. He looked very comfortable on the movie screen camera. He looked like it would be something that he's really wanting to contend. He does have some other movie roles lined up and has been cast. He's a pretty good actor. I'm kind of surprised WWE didn't pick up on some of those, some of his acting attributes in the past. So if you hear Seth in the background, SpongeBob is on, and he's pretty boisterous when SpongeBob is on. So, but he seemed very comfortable in his acting role, and I kind of miss him on Raw and miss him on wrestling. But hey, he's got the MMA thing and he's doing his acting. So people need to quit trying to post that they know when he's coming back, and quit trying to get ratings and trying to get people to come to their webpage just because they're posting bullcrap. I like certain other sites will not post stuff that I can't verify, or I will mention them, but as far as that, I will tell you whether they're crap or not. We're going to move on to the Raw notes. As with all Raws following a pay-per-view, this week's Raw was, for us here, it was an 8 out of 10. This rating is a big jump ahead for the last 3 weeks. They always do good after a pay-per-view. It just seems like, they got more to work with, and they did a lot of character and storyline development on during the pay-per-view. Now, Brad Maddox. Now, everybody's fussing because Brad Maddox but right now, the Brad Maddox era has begun, and so far, Maddox has done a good job. Okay, some of the things he did last night was very interesting. It was very worth watching Raw. Of course, we all know that Vince and him are running the show, even with Vicky. They were all running. There's nothing Vince don't know about. That little episode where Triple H and Stephanie were trying to, as someone on Twitter, parent Maddox. Vince McMahon was the one that wrote the script, so wrote the setup for that show. So we all know, but the interactions between Maddox and Cena and Orton was actually a cool mix. I agree with Solex Winter and Captain Ear on Twitter. I believe that Maddox's facial expressions is what sells his character. The pauses and the acting like you really don't know what to say kind of reminds me of the King when he was talking to The Rock. I do not like Fandango. I don't know. I think the guy that plays Fandango would actually be doing better if he was just doing a regular character. This is where me and Barrett agree on something, Wade Barrett. And with Wade Barrett's changing characters, I'm actually kind of starting to like Wade Barrett. They did a music change. This no bullshit Barrett. We kind of like this Barrett. When he actually knocked the hell out of Fandango during last week's Raw, when Barrett, when Fandango was trying to talk that he was in the Money in the Bank or whatever. I kind of like this Barrett. The match with him with Fandango and Orton was a good call by Maddox. The Brooklyn crowd was awesome, and with Orton taking the win, and it wasn't that they just gave Orton the win. Fandango had some good good come. He took over the match several times. So Brad Maddox also made a return match from Money in the Bank, Alberto Del Rio versus Ziggler, in a non-title match. Was as advertised. Both Del Rio and Ziggler were on the top of their game. We watched earlier as Ziggler dropped AJ Lee. And this proved to be dangerous as we see Big E attack Ziggler after losing the match to Del Rio, with AJ Lee creeping and doing her Black Widow thing in the corner. But like I said, Ziggler loses the match and is decimated by Big E. We all knew that was going to happen, that eventually Big E would go against Ziggler, because, we all know who has Big E's reins, and that's AJ Lee. The Wyatt family impresses as they take out our truth. Bray Wyatt's mic skills are kick-ass, better than what we've heard as when he was other people, when he wasn't Bray Wyatt. All I can say is Dusty Rhodes. I applaud you, sir. we all know that you and him sat down and came up with this character, these family members. I like the fact that he comes out and just sits down, and lets the family take care of business, and then he actually gets in the ring and actually asked R-Truth to attack him. And we do not know what the name of his finishing move was, but it was very potent, if you know what I mean. Now here's a question. They mentioned Kane. Here's a statement first. They told R-Truth that he was not what they were looking for. Okay. Then they mentioned Kane. And the reason why I say they mentioned Kane is this. They mentioned Kane. They asked, not really the audience, but they seem to be asking Kane to follow the buzzers. Now here's what I want to know. Is this their way of recruiting Kane? Is Kane joining the family? By this I mean that the Wyatts are pretty much supposed to be a cult. So is this where Kane's character has started to switch to? That we all thought because he was attacked that he would be against the Wyatts. But is he going to be joining them? And I'm interested to see what Captain Ear thinks about this. This would put him near the center spotlight, with as much spotlight as the Wyatts have on them right now. I think it's a good idea. He matches the body size and the power of the other two Wyatt members. And, I just think that, they're going to start recruiting. And which means I have a feeling that the Shield will also start spreading out a little bit. So I really want to see the Shield versus the Wyatts. I think it'll be interesting. Christian has a match with Sandow. He was showing the effects of the Money in Bank match. He came out basically telling the crowd, voicing to the crowd that he was really hurting. And after a match like that, and Christian's not as young as he used to be, and those matches tend to, let's see, but the story was they had a good match. He actually beat Sandow, and Sandow pretty much bragging that he was Money in the Bank. He was a savior of the Money in the Bank. And but the real story about this match was the Cody Rhodes attack and serving Sandow notice that you don't cross a Rhodes. And I'll borrow that from someone on Twitter last night. Goldust retweeted it. The name fails, it fails I can't remember who said it, but and then Heyman, genius on the mic as always, confronts Punk, explaining to Punk that without him, Punk is nothing. Well, apparently Heyman doesn't know you don't mess with an injured animal, and Punk explains to Heyman that he knows if Punk is lying when he says he will destroy everything around Heyman and take down Heyman, then take Heyman down himself. And you could look at the face of Heyman, and this is one reason why he sends Brock Lesnar out. And I'm going to repeat some stuff I said on Twitter last night. Okay, Lesnar is like a firecracker without no boom, without no bang. If Lesnar was Superman, he would be, his weakness would be microphonite. He cannot touch a microphone without failing. Being a wrestling character, being a wrestler other than, some people that we, George the Animal Steel didn't really talk. Several others haven't. But let me tell you that Lesnar is not these people. Lesnar to me is a waste of TV time. I pretty much said it on Twitter last night that, oh look, it's Lesnar. Oh, gotta pee. Really, if you cannot stand in that ring and sell a story, it doesn't matter what you can do in the ring. And he's going to realize that, and there were some really hard shots from Lesnar. He's going to realize he's not in UFC. This is WWE. You don't just walk out there and do your moves and leave. You've got to actually be able to sell the story that you're telling in the ring. And he can't do that because he can't talk. He cannot speak on the mic. His mic skills are so bad. I would rather hear the Ultimate Warrior in the old days talking about moonbeams and sun rays than listen to Lesnar talk on the mic. This is why they teamed him with Heyman. Because Heyman is a genius on the mic. He is a literal genius. So that is another reason why I compared Punk to Wolverine, was because after the Lesnar beatdown, he stood up long enough to say, "I'm still standing, dumbass." This feud is going to be epic. I'm telling you, it's going to kick ass. And this has made me a CM Punk fan again. The fact that he stood up and said, "Yeah, I'm still here." All right, moving on. Van Dam and Jericho put on a clinic in their match. Van Dam taking the win. And then Cena chooses Daniel Bryan as his SummerSlam opponent, which to me is a very wise decision. Bryan is one of the most popular, has got more push right now than anybody, and I really think that it's a wise decision for Cena to have him. Of course, most of us actually knew it was going to happen before the show, but hey, some things we're not actually supposed to know. So, okay, that's pretty much the show notes. Now I'm going to go on to some sponsor notes. If you want to follow one of our main sponsors, our first sponsor is Zach Pack Promotions. That is at ZPack Promotions on Twitter. Okay, you can follow them under Zach Pack Promotions on Facebook. And also you can go to www.zachpackpromotions.com and find out all their information. They got a big thing coming in November, and we're talking about it now because they like to be thorough. They want to cover all their bases, so they've done a lot of legwork for this. Bustin' for Autism is coming in November, but they're having a pretty good thing here. The November the 16th and the 17th at the Katy VFW Hall in Katy, Texas. You can have lunch with the stars. Stars like Snitsky, Greg the Hammond Valentine, indie wrestler Joey Image, Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and the Honky Tonk Man. I'm sorry, I almost let my the newscast opinion interfere with the stuff, so sorry about that. Also, you can meet Dustin Runnels, formerly AKA Gold Dust, and many more. Many stuff. They got so much stuff going on. Buying a ticket if you're in that area is a wise thing because she's giving away tickets. Bruno Mars, she then gave away tickets to I think they've already given away the SmackDown tickets in that area, and they've given away some Beyonce tickets, and I think they're working on another show, but I think it's going to be in December. So we're just going to have to see. I'll keep you posted. Okay, our second sponsor, and one close to my heart as well, my wife's page, fightingdisabilityslurs.wordpress.com. You can also follow them there, and on Facebook you can search them and find them. We're trying to stop words like the R word. If you don't know what I meant, I'm not going to say it on the air. But, racial slurs, using words against lesbians, and if you don't agree with them, that's fine. But there's no sense in calling people names. Period. That's our push. Why use slurs at all? Why say them at all? And if you don't want to be called something, don't walk around saying it all the time. People will say, well, you don't need to call me the N-word. Well, don't go around rapping about it. I think we all need to stop. And, it's not just You say, well, I can't be a rapper if I don't say that word. That's not true. Eminem is one of the biggest rappers around. Dr. Dre, one of the other biggest rappers around, says that Eminem is an awesome rapper, but yet he never says the N-word. And it's not just because he's white. It's the fact that he doesn't need to. Will Smith, as far as I know, has never said the N-word or a cuss word. Yet again, and still is who he is. So I think we need to get behind and stop using all these slurs. I think the world would be a better place. Okay. All right, I want to thank our third sponsor, and that is Throttle. That is THRODL, capital, all caps. You can find them on Facebook. If you don't know who Throttle is, they are a band. They provided us with our theme song that you heard at the first of the show called New Blood. Their new album is coming out called Razor Wire Finish Line. That's that's an awesome title. It's coming out soon. I'll give you it the minute he tells me stuff. And we're going to be doing some stuff with that sponsor. Maybe see if we can't get some prizes done. So if you're a Throttle fan, make sure you listen every week. We're here Tuesdays and Fridays. Right now, the shows are not live. I record them and post them by 5 o'clock on those days. As soon as we get another computer sometime in September. I would have had it earlier, but I'm going to be honest. I've got to get another cell phone. My phone is about to quit. So, and my wife needed one too. So, but in September we will have another computer. We will go back live on Google Plus Hangouts. So I will be keeping you posted. I want to thank Throttle, and you can find them on Twitter. That is Official Throttle, at Official Throttle, and Fiddler Throttle. You can also find him. That's at Fiddler Throttle on that. He is one of the band members. What's he playing?
Guitar.
Yeah, he's one of their guitar players. A nice guy. Got a great family and a good person to talk to. But for allowing us to use New Blood as our theme. Let's see, you got all the singles and albums can be purchased via iTunes. And if you go to their Facebook page and you like their Facebook page, you can keep up with all their where they're going to be, when they're going to be at certain places. So make sure you tell them that Mayhem News Live sent you. But I appreciate the nearly 700, almost a little over 700 views we've had on the show. And for those people that followed us from our Blog Talk Radio days, I appreciate everyone that's come across. And we still are looking for another co-host. Even when we go back live, I know Miss Stacy Lynn, we want to send our prayers and thoughts her way. She's having a lot of stuff going on medically and stuff like that. So I want to send her and tell her we miss you, hon, but we understand. We know where you are, and we're still looking for another co-host. But we're not actually going to start doing interviews until after the new computer, so we can actually get you on air live and see how you work with us and everything. So if you need to get in touch with us about that, you can contact us at Mayhem News Live on Twitter or at Mayhem News Live at gmail.com. I appreciate everyone following us and listening. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the same thing as the Twitter, Mayhem News Live. The first word, all the words, the first letters capitalized. You can search us on YouTube and find us as well. Also, you can go to Mayhem News Live at .wordpress.com and mayhem/news.com to see our shows as well if you don't catch them on the YouTube channel. It's been a wonderful day, wonderful show. I appreciate everyone that's listened, and we're going to get on out of here and let Throttle take us out.